anybody that's homeless is not easy, even if you have an income. You have to be on waiting list, and a lot of people be on waiting lists for 10, 12, 20 years. And God bless you, America. Mwah.
We didn't put ourselves out here. Circumstances beyond our control put us out here.
See how secret there's drugs out here? There's drugs everywhere. Like, I'm not even going to say this is America, because it's the whole world. Drugs are because they use drugs, are on drugs, have experimented with drugs of the drug, and not let the drug control you. You have full capability to stay cool. And God bless you, America. Welcome to Homeless U.S. News. Los Angeles is a city built on illusions. It is the dream factory of the world, a place where sunshine, wealth, and celebrity culture are exported to every corner of the globe. But just beneath the glossy surface of Hollywood premieres and Beverly Hills mansions lies a different reality. It is a reality of extreme contrast, where luxury neighborhoods exist just steps away from sidewalks lined with tents, shopping carts, and makeshift shelters constructed from tarps and despair. Los Angeles is vast and unforgiving. For those without housing, the sheer scale of the city turns distance into exhaustion. To be visible is to be at risk of theft, at risk of harassment, at risk of arrest. People live along the concrete arteries of the freeways, deep within the dry riverbeds and in the shadows of underpasses, pushed farther from help and deeper into isolation as the city stretches endlessly around them. This is not a temporary problem. Los Angeles has one of the largest homeless populations in the United States, with tens of thousands of people living without stable shelter. Rising rents, a critical shortage of affordable housing, and constant displacement have turned public space into permanent living space for many. The sidewalk is no longer just a path, it is a bedroom, a kitchen, and a living room. How can one of the wealthiest cities in the history of the world allow homelessness to become a permanent part of its landscape? And what does survival look like in a city built for cars, not for people without homes? Stay with us until the end as Homeless U.S. News walks through the streets of Los Angeles. We go beyond the image, beyond the headlines, to uncover the human stories that define this crisis. If you believe these stories need to be told, please subscribe to Homeless U.S. News. Help us continue uncovering the realities behind America's homelessness crisis. Part 1. A Tale of Two Cities. Los Angeles is a picture of contrast so sharp they feel almost surreal. On one side, you have areas like Beverly Hills and Bel Air, where luxury homes average over $3.5 million. These are neighborhoods of manicured lawns, private security patrols, and gates that keep the world out. But this sprawling city of 469 square miles masks a deeper reality of stark inequality that profoundly affects those without stable housing. Drive just a few miles east, and you enter a different world. Districts like Skid Row, a dense 50-block area in downtown, host thousands in temporary encampments along crowded sidewalks. Here, the air is thick with the smell of exhaust and unwashed bodies. The soundscape is a mix of sirens, shouting, and the constant hum of a city that never stops. Daily life for the residents of Skid Row is shaped by the constant search for safety and basic necessities. A clean toilet, a bottle of water, a safe place to close one's eyes. The finalized 2025 Greater Los Angeles Homeless Count, released by the Los Angeles Homeless Services Authority in October 2025 after a thorough HUD review, presents a sobering view. There are 67,777 people experiencing homelessness across the county. While this is a downward revision from initial estimates, reflecting a 10% reduction from the previous year's 75,312, it still leaves a staggering number of people in crisis. 44,415 individuals remain unsheltered. This means they are sleeping in tents, makeshift structures, vehicles, or directly on the pavement. Within the city limits alone, there are 43,695 homeless individuals, including nearly 27,000 without any form of protection from the elements. In this environment, hundreds join the ranks of the homeless each year. They are pushed out by economic strains, a lost job, a medical emergency, a rent hike, or personal shifts like divorce or domestic violence. They face the raw hardships of vagrancy, the uncertainty of where to rest each night, the exposure to weather without refuge, and the quiet erosion of dignity in full public view. These contrasts highlight our shared vulnerabilities. Life's unexpected turns could lead anyone to similar circumstances. It fosters a collective call to empathy and support. As we delve into these truths on Homeless U.S. News, we aim to illuminate the genuine facets of urban America, encouraging deeper connections between those with homes and those without. What divides have you seen between prosperity and struggle in your own surroundings? If these insights into human resilience move you, a like helps spread the word, and subscribing to Homeless U.S. News keeps you tuned to more heartfelt accounts. Part 2. The city that never sleeps, but lets you sleep. In the vibrant pulse of Los Angeles, avenues like the Sunset Strip come alive with nightlife, drawing crowds of up to 50,000 on lively weekends. The constant flow of activity keeps the city humming around the clock. But for those without shelter, this energy is not exciting, it is exhausting. They face a relentless battle against an environment that offers no true respite. Along the iconic stretch of Venice Beach, spanning 1.5 miles and welcoming 16 million visitors each year to its sandy shores and eclectic boardwalk, dusk brings a shift. As the tourists retreat to their hotels, the boardwalk transforms into an improvised campsite under the stars. The soothing sound of waves competes with the unending murmur of passers-by and distant music, turning potential serenity into a backdrop for survival. This life outdoors unfolds in relentless cycles. Public havens like Echo Park, a 29-acre oasis with its tranquil lake during daylight hours, morph into shared sleeping quarters at night. They are dotted with hundreds seeking shelter under trees or benches. Their rest is constantly interrupted by the glow of headlights and the symphony of sirens echoing through the dark. Sleep deprivation becomes a chronic condition, eroding mental health and physical stamina. The hardships are woven into every moment. The scorching heat of summer days, averaging 85 degrees, beats down on exposed skin, causing dehydration and relentless fatigue. Concrete retains heat, making the ground feel like an oven, even after the sun goes down. Conversely, the biting chill of winter evenings, dropping to 45 degrees, seeps through inadequate blankets, leaving bodies shivering and joints aching from the cold concrete below. Simple acts become monumental struggles. The quest for a spot shielded from rain turns streets into slick hazards. When it rains in LA, the drainage systems often overflow, flooding the very places where people sleep. The constant alertness to shifting winds carrying dust and allergens irritates eyes and lungs, leading to chronic respiratory issues. Perhaps the greatest toll is the mental drain. Fragmented sleep amid the city's never-ending noise, where traffic roars and conversations drift by without end, makes it impossible to think clearly, to plan for the future, or to hold down a job. Hundreds more find themselves in this wandering existence annually. They are overwhelmed by circumstances, confronting the profound vagrancy of no secure haven. Imagine the soreness of carrying life's essentials on a weary back, day after day. Imagine the quiet humiliation of weathering storms in plain view of people rushing to their warm homes. Imagine the deep weariness that accumulates from days, weeks, and months without true recovery. These realities offer a subtle mirror to our own lives. Unexpected challenges could lead any of us to face such unrelenting exposure. It reminds us to value the simple shelter we often overlook, a door that locks, a bed that is warm, and to contribute to spaces of greater safety for all. As you continue this journey with Homeless U.S. News, let it reveal the authentic struggles embedded in America's dynamic cities. How might the absence of a quiet night impact your daily strength? Part 3. The Roots of the Crisis. At the foundation of Los Angeles's persistent homelessness crisis lies a complex interplay of economic pressures that erode stability for many. It pushes individuals and families toward displacement in a city where opportunity often feels just out of reach. High housing costs are the primary driver. Escalating property taxes and real estate speculation have created an unaffordable landscape. While California's Proposition 13 limits tax increases, LA's average effective property tax rate remains around 0.73%. According to WalletHub's 2025 analysis, this contributes to inflated home values averaging $1.1 million across the metro area, per Zillow's October 2025 report. This structure, intended to stabilize ownership, has inadvertently constrained supply and driven prices higher. It leaves low-income residents vulnerable to eviction, particularly in neighborhoods like South LA. Here, average one-bedroom rents have climbed to $2,900 as of the third quarter of 2025. Meanwhile, wage growth lags significantly, sitting at just 2.1% according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. The math simply does not work for the working poor. Layered onto these financial strains are deep social challenges, including substance use. Often functioning as both a cause and a consequence of homelessness, drugs complicate the path to stability. A February 2025 study by UCSF's Benioff Homelessness and Housing Initiative found that substance dependence affects more than 40% of unsheltered individuals in Los Angeles. It is crucial to understand that for many, substance use serves as a coping mechanism for trauma or the need to stay alert in unsafe environments. If you are sleeping on a dangerous street, falling into a deep sleep can be fatal. Stimulants become a tool for survival. In communities like Boyle Heights, substance use disorders impact roughly 25% of the unhoused population. This is compounded by limited access to treatment amid a shortage of public clinics. Unmet behavioral health needs affect 78% of unsheltered adults. They are suffering in silence, self-medicating, because professional help is out of reach. These root causes are intensified by systemic barriers. Insufficient long-term policy has failed to produce enough affordable housing. Racial disparities disproportionately affect Black and Latino residents, who make up 60% of the homeless population despite being a smaller percentage of the general population. This points to long-standing inequities in housing, employment, and justice systems. Job instability in sectors like hospitality and the gig economy leaves workers without a safety net. Environmental disruptions, such as wildfires that displaced more than 15,000 people in 2024 alone, add another layer of instability. Together, these forces culminate in a profound human toll. It is the slow unraveling of lives where a single disruption, a car breaking down, a medical bill, a family dispute, spirals into homelessness. It grinds down resilience through uncertainty and loss. Hundreds fall into this reality each year, a reminder of how fragile stability can be for any of us. Which root cause do you feel demands the most urgent attention? Housing? Wages? Mental health? As this narrative continues on Homeless U.S. News, we call for deeper empathy and action. Part 4. Loneliness in the crowd. In the sprawling expanse of Los Angeles, home to over 10 million residents in its metropolitan embrace, the sheer density of humanity creates a cruel irony. The population density reaches up to 8,354 people per square mile in bustling core districts. Yet, for those without shelter, this crowd offers no company. Streams of commuters and tourists flood areas like downtown LA, where daily pedestrian traffic exceeds 500,000. They brush past individuals curled on sidewalks as if they were mere shadows in the urban flow. They step over sleeping bodies without breaking their stride. The 2025 Greater Los Angeles homeless count tallies a staggering 72,038 people experiencing homelessness countywide. Despite a 3.4% drop from 2024, this still means thousands navigate days enveloped in profound solitude amid the crowds. This isolation cuts deep. Fleeting glances from passers-by often carry a sting of indifference or subtle disdain. Eyes avert as if to erase the discomfort of witnessing another's hardship. To be homeless is to be simultaneously hypervisible and invisible. You are seen as a nuisance, but not as a person. In Pershing Square, a vibrant 5-acre park drawing thousands to its events and open spaces, someone might sit on a bench watching families picnic or professionals hurry by. Yet, they remain utterly disconnected. Their presence is acknowledged only in hurried steps around them. The loneliness builds in layers. It is the ache of unspoken conversations. It is the weight of being overlooked in a city that pulses with connections for others. Hundreds more slip into this reality each month. displaced by unforeseen circumstances, facing the raw vagrancy of no familiar door to open at day's end. The constant hum of traffic becomes a lonely lullaby. The chill of night settles in without warmth or companionship. The suffering unfolds in quiet human moments. The exhaustion from carrying all possessions in a backpack, ensuring nothing is stolen. The yearning for a simple nod of recognition that affirms one's existence. It is the subtle erosion of spirit where hope dims under the gaze of a society that moves on, leaving behind a profound sense of being adrift in a sea of strangers. These experiences linger as reminders of our shared fragility. Life's twists could place any of us in similar quiet desperation, urging us to pause and see the person before the circumstance. As you immerse yourself in this narrative on Homeless U.S. News, let it reveal the unvarnished truths of urban existence in America. Have you ever paused to truly see someone in a crowded space? If these echoes of solitude touch your core, a like would help illuminate more lives. Part 5. Living amidst the waste. In the overlooked fringes of Los Angeles, communal areas become default living quarters for those without stable housing. Here, the pervasive presence of waste and collective forgetfulness shapes a daily existence marked by persistent discomfort and degradation. Stretching along the Los Angeles River's 51-mile concrete corridor, often utilized as a recreational bike path by locals, accumulations of trash are undeniable. They range from tangled plastic bags to abandoned shopping carts, cluttering the edges where tarps and tents are pitched. This transforms potential open spaces into obstacle courses of refuse that demand careful footing day and night. The finalized 2025 count details a total of 67,777 individuals experiencing homelessness across the county. This still leaves an alarming 44,415 unsheltered. They contend with environments where debris not only litters the ground, but infuses the air. Acrid odors from decaying matter blend with urban runoff and exhaust fumes, creating a sensory assault that is impossible to escape. Within spots like MacArthur Park, a 32-acre retreat in the Westlake neighborhood that welcomes over 1 million visitors each year, the escalation of litter creates more than visual clutter. Heaps of sodden newspapers, food remnants, and miscellaneous discards emit foul smells that linger in the humid air. It makes relaxation or rest nearly impossible. The oblivion is compounded by inadequate infrastructure. Sporadic public restrooms or fountains provide minimal access to water. Often, they are contaminated or insufficient for basic hygiene. This results in days without proper washing. Grime builds on skin and clothing, leading to persistent irritation, skin infections, and a constant sense of uncleanliness. Hundreds enter this cycle annually. They are overwhelmed by economic pressures or sudden displacements. They face the granular hardships of vagrancy, the sting of stepping on hidden sharp objects amid the trash, the embarrassment of visible stains on worn-out garments in a city that prizes polish and appearance, the relentless itch from exposure to dust and pests that thrive in the unmanaged waste. These minute, yet cumulative challenges erode well-being. Imagine the difficulty of finding a dry patch on rain-soaked pavement strewn with litter. Imagine the struggle to protect meager possessions from scavenging animals drawn to the smells. Imagine the fatigue from inhaling polluted air without respite. This illustrates a quiet battle for dignity in forgotten corners. This setting offers a subtle reflection. The securities of clean surroundings and basic amenities are not guaranteed. Life's unpredictabilities could draw anyone closer to such realities, encouraging us to advocate for more equitable public care. As you follow this unfolding story on Homeless U.S. News, it peels back the layers of everyday American struggles. What simple comfort in your environment would feel most absent if taken away? Part 6. The city's response. In response to the persistent challenges of homelessness in Los Angeles, city and county officials have rolled out initiatives designed to expand access to shelter services and long-term housing. They are blending local funding with state support to address immediate needs while building sustainable frameworks. One key effort is the Homeless Housing, Assistance, and Prevention (HHAP) program. In January 2026, Governor Gavin Newsom announced a $419 million allocation statewide. Los Angeles County and its cities received a $328.8 million share. This funding targets interim housing, rapid rehousing, time-limited subsidies, and encampment resolution. It underscores the scale of investment needed. According to the governor's office, this funding aims to bolster programs like Pathway Home. However, budget realities have forced difficult adjustments. A January 2026 report from LA County's Department of Homeless Services and Housing outlined a $219 million reduction for the fiscal year 2026 to 2027. This could potentially cut street outreach by half and reduce Pathway Home sites from 20 to 7, maintaining only 460 beds instead of over 2,200. Complementing these efforts are measures like Proposition HHH, which by early 2026 surpassed its goal of producing 10,000 units of affordable and supportive housing. It boosted annual production to more than 2,000 units. Additionally, Measure A, a half-cent sales tax effective from April 2025, replaced Measure H and continues to fund prevention and services despite anticipated shortfalls. Yet, realities on the ground reveal limitations. There are long shelter wait lists that leave people stranded for months. There is extended uncertainty about funding. There is frustration with application processes that require documentation many homeless people do not have. Without reliable transportation, getting to appointments is a Herculean task. Hundreds continue to cycle through the system each year. They endure unstable placements that disrupt routines, limit access to medical or job assistance, and quietly drain resilience. You get a bed for a week, then you are back on the street. It is a revolving door of instability. Such initiatives remind us of the fragile web of support we all depend on. A personal setback could place anyone within these systems. As this exploration unfolds on Homeless U.S. News, it invites a closer look at urban compassion in America. How do you think balancing budgets with human needs shapes effective change? Part 7. Innovations and Future Solutions. As Los Angeles grapples with the persistent challenge of providing stable pathways for those without shelter, forward-thinking innovations are emerging to reshape support systems. These solutions blend technology, community partnerships, and sustainable designs to address long-term needs. In vibrant pockets like Highland Park, a 7-square-mile neighborhood alive with an art scene, tiny home villages have taken root. These villages offer compact, affordable units that house dozens at a fraction of traditional construction costs. They provide a lockable door, air conditioning, and a sense of ownership. This is part of California's broader strategy aimed at expanding such models across high-need areas. The governor's office emphasized in early 2026 updates that these efforts have already contributed to a statewide 9% drop in unsheltered homelessness for 2025. This bucks the national trend where overall homelessness surged 18% in 2024, as reported by the National Alliance to End Homelessness. Technology is weaving into the fabric of solutions. Mobile apps are now mapping real-time services across the city's 114 zip codes. This enables over 1,500 individuals to access job training programs funded by collaborations in Silicon Beach, an innovation hub hosting more than 500 startups. These tools streamline connections to resources, showing where a bed is open, where a meal is served, and predict emerging hotspots through data analytics, helping prevent escalations in areas prone to displacement. Meanwhile, green initiatives in Griffith Park incorporate eco-friendly shelters that prioritize energy efficiency and community integration. These foster environments where recovery can flourish, connecting people with nature as part of their healing process. Hundreds have begun transitioning through these programs. They counteract the vagrancy's daily toll, the uncertainty of tomorrow's meal, the barriers to steady work that perpetuate instability, and the quiet frustration of navigating a system that feels distant and complex. These advancements highlight the potential for broader change. They remind us that innovative approaches can turn vulnerabilities into strengths. This progress subtly underscores life's delicate balance. Economic shifts or personal setbacks could steer any of us toward needing such ingenuity, prompting a shared investment in resilient communities. Stay with this exploration on Homeless US News to absorb the full spectrum of these evolving American realities. Cultivating empathy drives collective action. What creative solution do you envision for supporting urban stability? Conclusion: a prayer for Los Angeles. As we draw together the threads of contrast, daily endurance, root origins, profound isolation, environmental neglect, civic responses, and visionary innovations in Los Angeles, a complete picture emerges. This is a city boasting 503 miles of sun-kissed coastline and horizons brimming with possibility. Yet, the narrative of homelessness emerges not as a distant statistic, but as a tapestry of human experiences calling for our deepest empathy and shared resolve. The finalized 2025 Greater Los Angeles homeless count reveals 67,777 individuals experiencing homelessness. 23,362 are in sheltered settings, but 44,415 remain unsheltered. These numbers remain shocking in scale, even while reflecting a 10% overall reduction from 2024, hinting at cautious progress. For those living this reality, significance lies in reclaiming dignity through small victories, the warmth of a stable meal, the comfort of a listening ear, or the promise of a doorway toward renewal. These are moments that turn survival into the first steps toward healing. Many enter these circumstances each year through life's unforeseen turns, carrying resilience shaped by uncertainty and longing. They remind us of the inherent worth held in every story. Looking forward, hope rests in expanded access to compassionate care, innovative housing pathways that honor personal journeys, and social shifts toward inclusion. We must move toward a society where no one is defined by circumstance, but uplifted through collective support. For the audience, this reflection offers a gentle invitation inward. Recognize how easily such paths could intersect our own lives. It encourages acts of kindness that ripple outward, volunteering time, advocating for resources, or simply offering acknowledgement to a person on the street. In this shared humanity, connection becomes a bridge toward a more equitable tomorrow. Let this be a quiet prayer. May the streets of Los Angeles, from the vibrant heart of Koreatown to every quiet corner of the valley, become places of refuge and opportunity. May hope take root through our united efforts. This culmination on Homeless US News leaves a lingering sense of possibility. It turns awareness into action for brighter futures. What spark of goodness will you carry forward from these insights? If this wrap-up resonates with you, a like helps echo these narratives. Subscribing to Homeless US News invites you into more explorations of the human condition. Thank you for watching, and remember, everyone has a story, and everyone deserves a home.